Yep.
Ladies, gentlemen, and others in the chat, welcome to another drawing stream. Righto. guide right into it and get this lovely Oriental lady blocked in. Something like this. We'll start big and broad, and we can always refine later. Sure, let's get here. Something like that. Get to this. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter as long as it doesn't really matter as long as she's center. We kind of need. Okay, yeah, I like that outer profile. So. Bigger at both, wider at the base. Okay, okay, okay. Not that wide. Let's see. There we go. Something like. Come on. Sometimes Krita is very uncooperative. Kind of just down like that. Yeah, okay, a little bit. Shave up a little bit of the edge there. Yeah. This one needs to be a little bit more muted. Yeah, not so intense. And this one needs to be so. Excuse me. I've been looking to expand my skills. Unfortunately, not my artistic skills, my working professional skills, IT related stuff. Because job hunting isn't doing particularly well at the moment. So, kind of going like, all right, maybe I should just straight up invest in a different skill set. needs to be IT related. Currently, I work as on-site IT support, which is all good and dandy. I've been doing it for over a decade, but the thing is, as the name implies, it requires that you are on site out with the customer. And that can severely limit your options if nobody in your neighborhood is hiring. That can limit your options, your employment options. Such as is the case right now. I'll go like, nope, they are not hiring. I'll go like, well, pooey pants. What are we gonna do about that? Well, I'm not even sure if there's that much we can do about it. it becomes one of those things. You kind of go like, I honestly don't know. I don't know, chat. I don't really, because I don't necessarily want to move. Because that's a whole can of to a job, because of a job, because it's a whole can of worms with like okay, cool. Now you, what am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do with my apartment? Do I sell it? Do I rent it out? It becomes this whole ordeal thing, so. And sure, I've been working on the Microsoft certification, which is going well, mind you. It's going well. Keep scoring, roughly speaking, 80%, 80% on the practice exam. So I go like, all right, now I've been doing that for a while now, so I'm feeling a bit confident that you go like, you know what? Now I feel ready for the exam. I try to like reserve a spot for it, but you know, they weren't available until September. No, not September. November, the middle of next month. So I'm like, okay, guess I'll just have to work something out. I still have vacation day, so I could just call in a vacation day on that day because, of course, I work. On how to say, I work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, of course. So they didn't have a free spot on like a Monday or something, which is just, yeah, why not? And the only other skill that I kind of have to bang on the table is my drawing skills, but honestly, the whole commission, and sure, you go like, yeah, you could do commissions and get money in that way, but honestly, I'm very on the fence. Like, the thing that I turn to get away from the machine, the grind, the hustle and the bustle, is that really something that I want to commodify? I don't know, chat. I don't know. Really on the fence on that. I suppose we could just go to town with that one. Turn that almost vertically. Does it go all the way out there? I think it does. Probably have to define some lines to better separate shapes. So yeah. I don't know, chat. So I spent the whole day trying to get into the whole GitHub front end developer scene, because me being a bit of an idiot, I go like, oh yeah, fell down a little YouTube rabbit hole. Go like, yeah, I learned the code, became a front end junior dev in like 4 months, and I go like, and everybody was like tooting the same thing. Yeah, project-based learning, that's the way to go. And I go like, yeah, okay, cool. I could see myself doing that. Pay is good and all of that jazz. I think that is kind of like dress is in shadow. Yeah, because it does show something that sticks out behind. Then I would like to get that. Something like that, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, it just needs to be a smidge shorter. Wow. Something like that. Not bad. Collapse that down. This one probably needs to be a lot thinner. Needs to be more cleaner, more confident. There's some lines here that we can. I don't know if that's way too curvy, so it kind of a little bit more subtle. Yeah, that's close enough. Because you need what we are going to do, chat, is going to tighten and hide that line like such. just to give some dimensionality to it all. I think that's about further back and a bit more swing to it. Yeah, so I figured I'd give it a try, chat. The whole front end developer thing. See where it ends up. If nothing else, it might give me the skills needed to make my own little website, which isn't bad. Something that I talked about it before, like one of my long-term goals is my art is I want to make my own comics, and I don't necessarily want to upload them to like Webtoon or Tapas or something like that. There is a spin-off site to Mangadex, which is, what the heck was that called again? Nami something? Nami Komi. Which is just like comics that have just been uploaded for people who just want to share, and I call it, okay, I could do that. But again, I might want to start with like, what do they call it? Twitter comics or whatever. Like it's just a single panel, but you put a lot of, it's not necessarily a money shot with all the bells and whistles and effects and fires, but you do put effort into it, and there's just multiple speech bubbles. Like it's a single panel comic basically that tells a very short and sweet story. Or there might be multiple, but it's just one panel per. And the panel itself might not necessarily change all that much. Right? The camera angle, the composition, pretty much all of it stays the same. It may be that it's just the one character that it is. It's kind of like it has a different facial expression or something like that. So it's not a massive change in that regard. It might be a little bit. Yeah, and then oh no, that one. Oh, yeah. Ow. Like if you wanna. Now, do I do the face, chat? Do we do the face? Simplify. It's gonna be tricky. Maybe I should just make this. Try to make this. Yeah, there we go. Doesn't really matter that it's a little bit uneven because it's like it kind of fits. And if she has like that lovely earring of hers, which is like a flower? Flower, and it does. I suppose, technically speaking, you should have put her face into shadow as well, but limited values and palette and all of that jazz, I guess. And kind of just pull that back a bit. Now, the easy part would definitely her eyebrows would definitely be suitable, but yeah, I know that her hand looks like she's wearing brass knuckles or something, but I don't know. Because otherwise it becomes a little bit too much, I don't know, too much of a line. If we just, like, were to continue. Yes. Okay, that's roughly speaking her profile. Roughly speaking. Alright, and then cut it off like that. It's pretty much right on the money, chat. Look at that. Boom. But related to work, another strat that I can have is to simply... Okay, yeah. There's always an ugly face, chat. Another strat that I can have is there is the company that I work for, or the company that or the client, rather, I suppose is the client, I suppose is the best way to say it. The client that I work for is going to do some merger stuff on 26. So I could, and that is looking more and more like a valid strat, to just camp it out, you know? And because when companies like that merge, the IT department is gonna pretty much catch fire, more or less. Or not catch fire, but it's gonna be hectic because, like, we got new people coming in, they have their system. They have their system that needs to come in, and we have our systems, and they're two companies, you know, that chat, when two companies love each other very much, they decide to become one. So that's slated to happen in 26, which isn't that far off. So yeah, but either way, I think I should still try to invest in myself and get some skills, both with the Microsoft certifications, but also the front-end manager, front-end developer, sorry. It's not a bad thing to have, I suspect. But man, it was tough to get into. I know that nobody's born a blacksmith and everything's tough in the beginning. But I'm also feeling like I'm playing on like trying to do like a no death run on Dark Souls here, or no leveling run on Dark Souls. I go like, oh yeah, because guess what, chat? I work on Linux because I don't like Windows 11. Should I do the no cell? Like, she has very prominent eyes, but like, holy crap, I don't think that that is. I could try. Let's try. Because of her makeup. What is that? Mascara and eyeline. Not so much the eyeshadow because that's sparkly. But yeah. I suppose, yeah, because like that's what the when in anime that's what they do. Like they do that and then they sort of right. Like they have this, they make this little triangular thing. Now it looks like she's crying. Her eyes closed and crying. But yeah. Anyway, like it's a very common way of like you pull the eyelashes together. You don't draw the individual hairs. And low-key chat, that was pretty good. I wasn't even trying, man. What the heck? What the heck, chat? It's one of those things, like, yeah, so like you see that, right? That is a good or decent shape. It's that interesting. It's like you create shape design, which is ultimately what it's all about. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm happy with that, but can we replicate it though, chat? That's the big question. Maybe. Ooh, what if I just do something like that? Oh. Yeah. Like that works surprisingly well. Like, god dang. Okay, and she... Is this the right size for her eyeball, by the way? Oh my... Or eyeball. Iris. Iris, it's Iris. I gotta stop making Hall alive. No, don't erase. No erasing. How about that? How about that, chat? Is that... Someone... Ah, god dang it. I'm not on a separate layer. I done goofed. Wow. You put that there. Right. Excuse me. I mean, we could also put it further back. But that, yeah, because now it looks like more that she's looking at. Alright. I'll allow it. And to get the highlight, we're just gonna we need to take a jab into the eyeball. Into the eyeball. Why do I keep saying eyeball, chat? Why do I keep saying that? Something like that. Boom. A little bit of a bend to it. Super tiny. Okay. I really love to just shrink this thing down. A better frame her. Anyway. New layer. I think it's just gonna be like that. Chat. Probably a bit flatter out. Like I know that her eyelashes are going like. That honestly, chat, isn't like what the heck? I'm seriously on a roll today. Yesterday was excuse me. Everything went wrong yesterday, or a lot of stuff went wrong, and I was not happy with the end result. But today, it was like, oh god dang, look at this. Even though I haven't like done. Yeah, okay, that might be a little bit too. Yeah, okay. Can we like just does that work? No, it doesn't. Oh. I'd like to have like, I like that it's kind of like, it has just this pointed. Okay. Like, we're going into symbolism territory here, chat. We're kind of like, what is this? But it doesn't look like it's wrapping. Doesn't look like it's wrapping properly around. Can we do that? Oh. I might have been a little bit. Alright. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it there. And obviously. Alright, that looks funky as all heck. We're not gonna do that. Like, I do know that because of the way that she's looking, but it needs to have some breathing space. Like that. One. Gosh darn it. Can I though? Hang on, chat, let me cook here. Copy this, paste it. Isn't there a way to like, layer, transform horizontally. Yeah. Not sure if this is gonna work, chat, but let's give it a go. Eyes are tricky and also to become the focal point though, so people gravitate to it naturally. Alright. Alright. I'm just gonna call it quits there. Screw it. Well, Kicksan is really pushing those bots today. Pulling in double duty because Twitch Chan isn't pushing their bots. Oh well. Lips. They are. But well, I did portraits for all of. So I do know all of it. Hang on. It's like that. But the dreaded the dreaded ugly face. Face, not face, but like the stage in the drawing is I found some old, a while back I found some old portraits that I did. And they weren't like bad. They were just, I just stopped in the, in the so-called ugly stage. They had potential, chat. I guess at that level, I just simply didn't see it. Or I was just like, this is the peak that I can do, I'm gonna tap out. I honestly can't remember. But either way, now it looks like her lips are open, but that isn't really what I'm going for here, chat. I'm low-key going for her the shadow of her under. I think in that case, I think it's just better if we just do something like this. Or if we do, hang on. No, we do this, and then we do this, and then we do that. How does that look like? Okay, I'm probably way too dominant, even. This is one of the things like, but it looks right. It's correct because I traced it, but even so, it's like, nah, dude. You gotta make that a little bit less prominent. Alright. Stumped. Now, okay. Now we have to do the nose. And the nose is... like, considering we're only working with shadows, it's only going to be like this bottom plane of her nose, which is nostrils and the whole... it may be a little bit of the wing. You know, that little hook right by the wing. You get this something like that. Obviously not that big. That looks like a really curly mustache. Not what I wanted. But I'm onto something though, chat. Look at that. Just need to probably refine this a heck of a lot more. Squash it a bit. And I think there we go. Okay. We're getting dangerously close to like line territory here. So trying to remember how you have the tip of the nose and then it kind of like curves back. And then kind of go like, alright. Then you have the tip. Alright, okay, that is way too pointed up. So it needs to be a heck of a lot lower. That's for sure. I just wanted to say, but it's correct according to the reference. And then you're like, yeah, buddy. And it needs to be. I'm trying to see it, like, okay, it needs to be like. This. And, you know, it ends here. And like we're trying to get that blends into that one. It's not necessarily super her likeness, but you're going for bottom planes only. That's the logic. Right. Did I mention that? But Sunday stream. It's gonna be at noon. Like, I'm sorry we keep rebooking. But the thing is, a friend of mine, my board game buddy, he has this. We have this knack of like, if it's not board game night, that we're on. That's when we're in sync. We're like, oh yeah, I'll call it. But if we're gonna go like, no, we're gonna do something else. That's not board game related. We tend to really struggle to get our brains and watches and everything else synced. We're horribly coordinated. Like he can be like, hey, you want to go shopping with me? Because like, I need to get a jacket. Yeah, sure, why not? Get out of the house and have some company. Why not? And he's like, all right, cool. Like, when are you available? And I'm all like, yeah, well. So we try to figure things out. Like, when are you available? And yada yada yada. Wait, what? No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be an eraser. There we go. Wait, what? Um, and back and forth, up and down. We go like, yeah, I'm available then and then. And no, can we move it to that day instead? You go like, no, I have an appointment then. And I go like, all right, well. And after a lot of back and forth, I go like, oh yeah, well, never mind. I found a jacket on the web, and I just bought that instead. I'm like, okay, cool. It was like, let's. But like, should we just go out and do stuff regardless? And I'm like, yeah, we could do that. Like, no problem. Speak of the devil. He's going to visit his mom. Alright. Basically, yeah. The guy is horribly coordinated. So eventually, we go like, alright, let's do some window shopping. There's another game arcade at the shopping center or whatever. And then, no, we're gonna cancel because he wanted to cancel because like the weather is gonna be a freaking storm. I'm like, all right. I figured like we're gonna be inside of a shopping center, my dude. Like we're not gonna be outdoors out in a park or something. Like what the heck? But whatever. So yeah, that was a thing. And now we're kind of like trying to get sort of outside of our regular scheduling. And it's a mess. It's a mess, chat. It's a mess. Yeah. So he asked me if this helps some small renovations for my house, for his apartment. And it's just like, my dude, you and we were like really struggling to coordinate one another, and it's just hilarious, to be honest, chat. Speaking of the devils, we go like, we finally coordinated something fun on Sunday, and we go like, this Sunday, and we go like, nope, he's got to go and visit his mom. At least he's not canceling, but yeah, then we definitely have to do it early. Yeah. All right, let's see. Oh boy. All right. There we go. coordinating. So it will be 6 p.m. tomorrow on Saturday and 12 p.m. on Sunday. Right. Then we have a plan, chat. We have a plan. So guess we will be seeing you then. Okay. Bye-bye.